Back here with Warriors guard Brandin Podziemski, John Dickinson on KNBR, the sports leader. Brandin, thanks for taking the time. And just what have the last few days been like here in Hawaii?
Super fun. Great location to have this. This is obviously only my second year, and last year was at Chase Center. So this has been a blast to kind of get the best of both worlds, vacation, but also work at the same time, being able to bring our families and our peers along with us. It's just been a great experience so far.
Who do you think's made the most at this point of just taking advantage of everything that the island has to offer while also putting in work?
Oh, I would definitely say, Gary. Gary's just an outgoing guy, finds stuff to do that no one thinks we could ever find to do. And he's just kind of like that as a person, just outgoing, always interested in new things, but also has time to put in his work.
I talked to Gary yesterday. I asked Gary the biggest difference that he saw in you from last year to this year. He said confidence. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, confidence, because you're pretty confident coming in as a rookie in the things that you did. Where did you gain where does the confidence come from initially, and do you feel you gained confidence whether it was with the USA Select team or just all the offensive work or off-season work that you put in?
Yeah, I think the confidence comes from the work I put in, April until now, and understanding what our team outlook looks like in terms of a roster perspective, and what's going to be kind of needed in terms of what Steph needs around him, what Draymond needs around him, and just kind of understanding, hey, this could be a role. This also could be a role. So just putting in work and understanding what the team's going to need of me, and knowing what I put in and kind of standing on that and having confidence no matter who I'm out there against.
What's the key to playing next to Steph Curry in the backcourt?
Be yourself. I think a lot of people try to conform to him, and in turn it hurts us as a team, because if you're too not in tune, but if you're too worried about what he's doing all the time, it kind of hurts you as a player. And I talked to him about it, and he always kind of stresses that to me of, hey, when you're out there with me and Draymond and Clay last year, you don't have to conform to us. Be yourself. It opens the floor up for everybody. So I think that's just a big thing that he's told me and told a bunch of our young guys when we're out there, also be yourself, and you don't always have to look for me.
As far as, Steve Kerr said the starting positions are open. There's basically 3 spots open. It's going to be Steph and Draymond, and then you got to figure everything out there. You started alongside Steph a decent amount last year. Is that something that is important to you to be a starter? Do you feel like you are going to have a big role, though, really maybe both ways, even if you're a starter, maybe coming out, coming back in? You're going to get time either way.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is just finishing games. That's when the game, matters most. When the game's on the line, making big passes, big shots, big defensive stops, that's when I want to be out there. It's cool to hear your name called and, be out there for the first whatever amount of minutes. But for me, I think I'm going to have a big role on this team kind of regardless. So if it's starting, if it's coming off the bench, whatever it is, I want to contribute to winning, and I want to be out there, the last 6-7 minutes of the game.
What was the experience like with the USA Select team? And, is it something where you're kind of in awe of it a little bit, but it's also such a great opportunity to learn and compete and, just be around legends, honestly?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think you go into it with a mindset of kind of like if a high schooler was to play a pro, and that high schooler is going to have kind of the utmost confidence because they have nothing to lose, right? They're expected to lose. They're expected to not do as well. So that's kind of the mindset I had going in against them was, playing the best 12 players in the world. I don't have anything to lose. It's expected of me to not be successful. And so that's just kind of how my mindset was, but also looking at it in a bigger light of I want to play in the 28 Olympic team and being able to participate in the select team in 24. Tyrese Halliburton and Anthony Edwards did it in 2020 and now played on the Olympic team. So I used that kind of as a, stepping stone to, hopefully be on the 28 Olympic team.
Was there a wow moment in the whole process of the workouts and practices and things like that?
So UNLV, their gym is kind of separated from an upstairs and a downstairs, and we practiced in the downstairs gym, and then when it was time to scrimmage, we came upstairs, and just kind of that first day of walking upstairs and seeing kind of all 12, 14 guys, whatever they had, kind of right in front of you on the same team. It's like, wow, that's an incredible team. But then, once you get to playing, you don't really think about it. You just hoop.
What did you think of, I mean, Steph in the last couple of games in Paris? I mean, you've seen him do things similar to that in individual games last year, but to see that on that stage, I mean, what was that like, just kind of knowing he's your teammate?
You want to say you've seen it before, but that was something different on that stage and that kind of circumstance. All the pressure's on, him and Team USA to win because that's what's expected of us. And for him to come out and do that the last two games after playing, pretty poorly the first kind of games and the first game in the quarterfinal, for him to turn it around like that, it's just something that he's capable of, and he turned it on.
Year one to year two, what's the biggest adjustment for you? And then I also want to ask you what's added to your game and what's taken out of your game. I know you've addressed it a little bit, but what worked for you last year that maybe you want to expand on? What maybe was something that didn't work that you needed to kind of cut out?
I think first off, really being defensive minded, knowing that Clay was going to be gone and Chris is going to be gone. If you're going to be out there with Steph, you're going to have to take the guard matchup out there because you're not going to give that to him. So understanding that, really locking into my body this offseason, I think was number one important. And then two, offensively, just scoring the ball more. I think I had more to give than I gave last year, not in terms of effort or anything like that, but in terms of what was asked of me. I felt like I could have done more, but given our team's sake, I did what I was told. And I think this year going in with a more scores mentality first, I looked at a bunch of my clips, and I mean almost the whole season. When I had an aggressive mindset, it made me a better passer. When I was kind of just passive to pass, then it made me a worse player. And so coming in with the mindset of scoring and making plays for my teammates kind of at the same time, I think it's going to help me. And what I've added this summer, some mid-range game, shooting threes off the ball screen, off DHOs, catch and shoot, trying to get as many of them up as I can. My rim finishing elevated a lot, took out the floaters, took out the hook shots. So really, any shot you see me shoot in the paint that's not in the restricted area is probably going to be a jump shot. And so everything else, shooting threes, finishing at the rim, both hands, that kind of stuff.
It was you and Moses were the last two, basically, getting shots up after practice today. Is there a number you try to get to, or with the 3-point shot? Is it greater than it was last year? What's that process like as far as making sure? Or are you just, hey, we've got the time, might as well take the time?
No, I think after practice it's more of a feel good type of thing. I just want to feel the ball good. Feel it come off your hands pretty smoothly. I think before practice, when the young guys get to work out before practice, there's much more like a stricter, hey, we want to make this or this. I think after, it's just like, I've had a long day, want to leave the gym, but feeling good coming out your hands.
What do you think of the expectations for this team this year? Obviously, Clay's gone. That's a part of it. Steph and Draymond are still here. Steve Kerr's still here. There are players like yourself and Jonathan and Moses who've been here, young players getting opportunities to grow. And then there's veterans that are brought in, Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton. What do you think of the mix and the depth as you've started to get to know this team?
Yeah, I love it because I don't think there is an expectation, and I think that allows everybody to play freely. And we got a bunch of people on this team that love kind of going against the grain, and if people say we can't do it, we have a lot of guys that like to prove people wrong. And I think it's been great for us. The energy this year kind of feels like a young vibe, even though we've added veterans, it feels younger. And each of the 4 guys that we've added, Lindy, DeAnthony, Buddy, and Kyle, and then our 2 new guys, and Jackson and Kevin, I feel like everybody's kind of played their part, and it brought energy each of the first 3 days. And I think, bigger picture looking, there is no expectation of us, and they think we're kind of filtering out, and that's kind of the best way to go about it because there is no expectation.
Has Buster Posey called you yet?
He is not. No, I would. I love the Giants. So, I mean, maybe later on down the line, being able to play for them would be something.